Hello everyone, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Watson Oakleaf YouTube page. My name is Kevin Noel and I'm your host today. Today we're going to be diving into the exciting world of artificial intelligence. We've got a training session going on right now and we're going to jump right in. Thank you for being here and enjoy.
If we're going to have to benefit from it. Kevin and I were just talking, we went the, I call it rebar camp, I think it's R-E-bar or whatever, but we saw a woman do a presentation on AI and it was just like, we have no idea that all this is going on. So we're all trying to ramp up. But one of the things that she said when she was doing it, don't feel like when you see all this stuff that you're behind the curve. It didn't become available to us until November. And so most people know very little about AI. They know of it, they maybe play with it some because there's a lot of apps popping up now. So we're not behind the curve. We're actually probably in the early adopters at this point getting involved in AI. You'll see a lot of presentations out there, and there are some awesome presentations out there. But most of what I see is a real high level. They want to get very technical. And what, as agents, I think most of us like, how can this work for me? And that's what I'm going to try to do today, is introduce things that we can do that you can incorporate to your business plan today and generate quick success. So, well, let me talk. I've met some of y'all. We've already been through this class before, but I'm Terry Kelly. I'm a local realtor. I'm retired Navy. I retired in '91. Got into real estate in 2005. I was a loan officer before that and I was an appraiser before that. But in 2005, I jumped in a hot market, right? And it was, everybody was fist fighting to get offers in and all that kind of stuff. And then the bottom fell out. When the bottom fell out, I did short sales. Nobody else did short sales. I did about 200 short sales before the title companies figured out, hey, they can make money on it. So they took that away. So I went ahead and opened up an independent brokerage then and sold foreclosed properties. That started to dry up. I ended up buying a Century 21 franchise in 2018. I bought my way out of that in 2015. I bought my way out in 2018, and now I'm an independent out here running. But I've sold a couple thousand homes. I've seen a lot of changes in the market, and again, this is one of those things that I think is going to be a difference maker if we embrace it. Goal for today is to leave you with an understanding of how you can incorporate AI into your business now. My goal for today is to leave you with an understanding of how you can incorporate now at little or no cost. You can spend money on some of the apps that we're going to look at today, but you don't have to, I don't think you have to spend a dime on any of them. So, does everybody in here have ChatGPT now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a free version out there now, good.
Are you using the paid version?
I went ahead and bought the paid. There's a subtle difference, but once I figured out how to upload information to keep it current, it's, you could run ChatGPT 3.5. I'll show you how to do that today as well.
Cool, thank you.
So you can take current information and get current, market reports and stuff like that.
Great.
The ones we're going to talk about is Merlin extension. Does everybody have Merlin? Write that down. It's a free extension. It's on the handout that you got. You just go into your extensions, on your laptop. Click if you want and hunt for Merlin, upload it. What it is ChatGPT is a drop-in box that goes on your documents. I'll show you when we get into it, but I'm typing an email out and I'm saying, hey, Mommy, have you seen the deal on this? And I'm going like, what is it? I can hit Control-M, little box, and I go, give me the data on, and it'll create just like ChatGPT does for you. Cut and paste it into email or the Word document, whatever you're working on. So it's an awesome little addition. I don't use it enough yet. I'm getting better at it. So Merlin extension, that's free. Canva, probably everybody has Canva. Probably everybody has the free version. With the paid version, and I'll show you, this is actually a Canva presentation, not a PowerPoint. But I'll show you that if you have the paid version, you can create pictures from text in it. It comes with it, and and there is a chat GTP version in there. It's not as robust as 3.5, I don't find. Definitely not as robust as 4.0. but Canva is another one. Tome is a program that will help you generate topics. We're going to take a look at that. You may or may not want to do it. It kind of replicates some of what ChatGPT does, but it will help you create topics that you can build off of. And again, I'll say this. You can spend a lot, you can create content and then go in and work it and work it and work it. That's not what this is for. I think you're missing the point if you do it. You want to go in and say, what topics do I want to write on for this subject matter? And it creates them, just accept them and move on. And then you start digging down on each one of those, accept it and move on. Before you post, you want to read and make sure it's right, because it'll make stuff up. I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, but ChatGPT will go like, well, I'm sure they have a pool at this home, so they put in there that it's a nice pool in the backyard, and you go, I didn't put that, but it tries to guess what goes along with what it's creating. So Tome is another way to generate some topics. It's a free program. ChatGPT, we've talked about that. There is the free version is usable now. When I first got in, you couldn't get in it. I mean, you could get the program, but it was, you had to go in at like 3 o'clock in the morning to have any kind of time on it. And the Trello board, if you're not familiar with it, it's another free program out there that you can use for tracking. I think of it when I was in construction, it would have been a real good model for me tracking, get the contract, order the material, deliver it here, put this in, that kind of stuff. And I'm going to show you how you can use the Trello board to lay out your social media posts and your blog posts. That's what we're going to kind of look at today. So, and my goal is that you can go in and spend maybe an hour on Saturday and create all the content you're going to need for the next month or 2 months. And you should be able to do it within an hour. Now, you're going to need to go in and drill down before you actually post, but you'll have your topics, you'll have your subtopics, and you'll have text on it within about an hour, 2 hours on a weekend, once you get comfortable with it. The other ones I put on the list, Hemingway app is one. I thought it was free, but it is a paid version. It will check your text, but it will also look for plagiarism. So if you're going to be writing books and stuff like that, which ChatGPT will do, you may want to get Hemingway so you can check your for plagiarism. Grammarly checks for grammar, spelling, and all that. And then I put at the bottom this HTTPS Super Tools. That is a site you can go to, and it keeps you current with what's going on out there now. You can look up what's coming, what it's being used for. And I didn't say it before, but stop me and ask questions as we go. I don't want to get to the end. You go, I meant to ask you about, and I can't remember. I'm very much into let's stop, answer the question, and then move on. Social media, just real quick on social media. We all know the impact of social media on real estate. I mean, it's the center of so many people's lead generation efforts now. It's just the heartbeat of real estate right now when you're out there working. And I saw a presentation from one of the ladies I work with. She's from up north, but she actually has people in her sphere sending business to her, having buyers call her directly. Sellers have she goes, when she walks into a listing appointment, she'll go, well, we need to do a walkthrough. And they go, no, they already have her list because they've been following her on social media. And people that she doesn't even know, and I saw this actually happen, are reaching out saying, well, we've never talked before, but I want so-and-so to work with you because I've seen all of your social media. I'm just saying this, that's how powerful social media is. And I think that we can tie these two together to enhance our impact in the social media world. There's things like the 7-11-4 rule, 7 hours, this is Google stats. A buyer needs 7 hours of interaction across 7 touch points in 4 separate locations before they'll make a purchase. The rule of 7, prospects need to hear your message at least 7 times. Again, this is keys to success in social marketing. And we're going to try to get there right now with AI. We're trying to step that up a notch for us. You can do it you can do social media for free. You can control the narrative, and you can access more people. And how do we do that? We only have 24 hours a day. We only have so many people we know. We only have so much time to invest, right? AI, I think, is going to get us there. So let's let AI help, and if you'll give me just a second. That's the end of the presentation. Now I gotta put my glasses on. Okay, so I talked about Merlin. I'm going to show you Merlin. I'm in here in my email. And Jeffrey sent me something. I want to respond. I'm going to respond to him. So I go, hey, I hit my return button and I want to talk about investment property. I do Control M. And there's my pop-up. This is ChatGTP now, and I can say, you know, I'm just, you know, typing something in. But the point is, I plug something in and it starts generating content. And then now, once it creates it, you can look at it and go, yeah, this is what I was looking for. You can cut and paste it into your document, or you could take parts of it, or you can say, you know, say it again, just like you can with ChatGPT. So Merlin's a good app to have available to you, and it's free. It's just, you know, like I said, it's an extension you get from your device. Let's see, I wanted to go Merlin, Canva. Now Canva, if you haven't done it before, this is in the paid version now, but under Docs on your main dashboard, you can go in, and here it is. It's ready to act as ChatGTP as well. You can start asking it questions, and it'll generate responses for you. I'm not going to spend time there because I want to get into the other stuff today that we're actually going to use a lot of, and then apps. And this is text to image. And I can do create new design. Show me a Watson agent.
You gotta click a document type first.
Huh?
You have to click a document type first.
What did I miss?
Click doc. Yeah.
So again, you can be doing something and that's what we want to be, is in front of soul signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes this takes a little bit, but so if you're doing something and you want to pop it up a little bit, you can go in and actually create your own. And the thing in Canva, in the paid version, there you go. I guess, I don't know if I misspelled everything or not, but anyway, so you can go in and create content, and these are yours. They're actually trademarked to you because it's a paid version that you have. So if you use them and it concerns you, but you can keep recreating these over and over again. This again is a free app. It's in the paid version of Canva. Any questions on that?
I think I was playing around with this, I think there is a limit to how many times it's a significant amount that you can do, but I think, I don't know what the number is, but it says I can't do it anymore.
Okay, and there may be, and on Tome there is as well. When you get Tome, you get free you get tokens. I think it's 475. I've done all this and used less than 100 tokens. So, and you can buy more tokens or just have somebody else to sign up, and it gives you another 500 tokens. But this is one I was telling you about that helps you come up with content. So one of the problems that we run into as realtors, we go in, it's Monday morning, I got to create content, I'm going to do something, what am I going to write on today? What am I going to go after? And then we start thinking. And we go down that path that, no, so-and-so did that, no this, and you go back and forth, and you just wear yourself out really trying to come up with relevant topics. But you can pop into a program like Tome, hit create. I don't think this worked for us last time, did it? Type in a topic, and it'll start generating. So I came up with the title that supposedly has a hook to it, sun, sand, and whatever, and now it starts creating subtopics. And you can pick different ways to structure this. It'll actually start giving you content along with it, and it'll create pictures that you can use as well. What I find this useful for is this. I want to do something on the beaches, and now it's given me 6 subtopics that I can now use, right? And I'm going to jump over to, from any questions on this? Good. So I can cut and paste this and plug it into Tome, or into Trello board. Let me find my Trello board real quick. There's Trello. So this is a Trello board. Again, it's a free one. It has a limit as well. I think you can wear it out at some point in time. But really, I don't know why in most of our businesses that we would need to use more than what's free. Because once you create stuff, you just go in and keep modifying it, updating it, or changing it around. But let's see, Clay County. So this, what you're seeing now, I went in before and ran in Tome and got some topics. Clay County blog is what this is created for my blogs. I have an introduction to Clay County, and it creates a column that I can keep adding to. So then what I do is I go in and go give me some subtopics for introduction to Clay County, and then I add these cards. I've done that, finding a home, moving to Clay, exploring Clay, living in Clay. Did that across. This takes maybe 10 minutes, to create this by using ChatGPT and plugging these things in. And you can even create a list in chat, capture it, might be 10 or 15. You can take it, plug it in, you hit add a card, insert it in there. It'll come back and say, do you want one card with all this on it, or do you want 6 different cards? And it'll then create the cards for you. So you spent a couple minutes, you've identified some main topic areas and some subtopics that you can use. No brain matter has been used up until this point, right? We don't have that decision fatigue that we all run into. We keep having to try to decide what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. This is making choices for us. Then once you have this, you go back into ChatGPT and create the content that you plug in. And so that's what I have. I created a picture. I think that's one I created in Canva. And then this is my blog post. So you create these and they're just sitting there waiting on you. So I have a little time, or up to, Mondays from 9 o'clock to 9:30, I'm gonna work on my blog post. You pull your Trello board up, open your ChatGPT and start filling them in. And so now you build out 30 or 40 blog posts for Clay County. You do the same thing for Duval County. You do the same thing for St. Johns County, for Amelia Island. You see what I'm getting at? Now you're spending time building this stuff out. It's just sitting there waiting on you. And so when your calendar comes up, Tuesday's my blog post day, you're not coming in and go, what am I going to write on today? What did I do last time? You don't care. It's sitting there waiting on you. You grab it and you move it in. And I'll say again, you make sure it's correct before you do it, right? Because it'll make stuff up. So
I'm sorry. So up until now, you're just talking about ChatGPT and Trello, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
This is Trello board, and I used Tome to come up with my main headers across the board. But you can do the same thing in chat. You can say, give me topics related to, and it'll do the same thing. I like to play with tone as well. So I came up with my topics from tone, or you could do the same with chat and say, give me a list of, and it'll, whatever you're asking for. And then those become each column for me.
Gotcha.
And then, so once you get looking at introduction to Clay County, things will start rolling, and chat will give you ideas to go after. You start just getting content and loading it in there. And again, I'm talking about myself now, where I get into trouble is I want to go ahead and correct it and rewrite it now. And you never get done, right? It's like when you're making your calls. How many of you make your calls and somebody wants something, you put the phone down, so you go and you set your search up and you do all this stuff and you go on. So your hours worth of prospecting time you've set aside, you've dealt with one person. You got them on the phone, it was a great meaningful conversation, life is good, but you spent the rest of the day doing stuff that you could do at midnight, you know? So this is eliminating that. Don't dive deep at this level. Before you post, dive deep. But you pull it up, you look at it, is it grade the way I want, is it that Hemingway, if you pull it into Hemingway, it will actually grade your paper. It'll come back and say, hey, this is pretty technical, you know, and it'll highlight sentences that say this one reads too hard or this one doesn't make sense, and you can go in and make changes and watch the grade level come down to where you want it to be, what you're trying to target. But that's Hemingway will do that if you want. But again, as you can see, you can spend hours going bumping back and forth between all this stuff, when my recommendation is focus on getting it done. You know, done is better than perfect. And this is a classic example of that. You'll have all this stuff halfway finished in there. You'll be all over the board. You'll be wore out. When all of the stuff I'm showing you today is to prevent that from happening. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm showing you blogs. You see, you can do the same thing with social media, right? Just it's the same thing. What's social media? We're gonna show you the way how this all interacts, and some good interactions with ChatGPT now. But I just wanted to show you the basic flow. And so as we're talking about the different things, hopefully it'll pop in your mind like, oh, I see. Okay, I see how I can use that, and build out meaningful dialogue that you can now post without doing a whole lot of thought, and you can stay focused on your prospecting. You can do your showings and, you know, your listing appointments and all that, and it's not that now that's all taken away from it. And I advise that you plug this stuff into your calendar, you know, do time management so that you're setting time aside to do the things that you need to do. But see, you can say, I'm going to spend an hour on this, and you may not get everything done in an hour. It doesn't matter, because you're going to have, you know, a month's worth or more that's sitting there waiting on you, and then the next time your calendar pops up with time, you can complete the thing out. Okay, any questions? All right, we're going to dig into some on the ChatGPT. And again, the free version is out there now. OpenAI.com is, if you don't have it yet, OpenAI.com. The free version is in, you'll see ChatGPT, well, GPT 3.5 is the free version now. And GPT-4 is a paid version, it's $20 a month. It's a little more robust. One of the things, it does produce, I think, better content, but it's still good content either way. The 3.5 only has information up through 2020. GTP4 has it through 21. So even GTP4 doesn't have, you can't say, give me a market analysis for Oakleaf Plantation, Jacksonville, Florida. It doesn't, you know, if it produces something for you, typically it'll come up and say, hey, there's a warning, you know, I only have information through, you know, September of 2021. So it'll try to warn you, but anyway, so that's the big difference between the two. We're going to do everything in the free version 3.5 that we're going to do today. And I'm just going to go down the list. You should have the list as well. Bear with me because I don't have two screens. Okay, so somebody's new into business and they don't know all the terms and all that. This is a quick and easy way to become the expert. You could just literally give me technical terms for real estate. and it'll start giving you common terms used in real estate. So this, if you're working with a newer agent and they're a little concerned about the knowledge that they have on the different terms that are being kicked around, this is something you can turn them loose on. It'll give you different things, and then you can drill down on them, right? I think in this thing I go another level, but basically you could go in and go like, well, tell me more about the homeowners association. You know, that would be your next question, and it'll start answering questions. But this is a great resource for learning terms that are used in our industry and what they actually mean. The next one, I did Merlin already. Canva we did, Tome we did, Chat. Summarize text. Okay, this is an interesting one. So you get an article in. Let me find the article. You get an article in and you go, how does inflation, this one is just one I pulled up, what does inflation do to mortgage rates, a guide for uncertain times. So it's relative, it was done in May of this year, but you'll see it's a long article, and as realtors we can only get about 8 seconds in before we pass out. So we could take this article. I'm just doing a Control-C, going back to chat. I'm going to start a new chat. It's just easier to do it that way. Summarize. You don't have to spell right either. Summarize the follow. Now, one of the things that we run into is that, okay, so I want to go to another line now, so we hit enter, and it starts trying to answer that question. So to solve that, you use shift enter, and it will add a line, move it down, and then I call it an article, identify what it is. I post that article in, and I ask it to summarize. And it may look like it's not doing anything, but you got to scroll down on some of these. So this is a real long article with a lot of information in it. But you saw, what was it, a couple seconds now? It summarized the article for us. So you can start reading experts that I don't understand half of what they're saying. You know, some of the economists and all that, I follow them to a point. But you can let chat summarize that discussion. And then you can say, give me 5 talking points from this. And it'll create 5 talking points. And give me a subject line with the hook in it for whatever one that you decide you're going to drill down on. You just keep going further and further. But so this is a way to take information that's out there and compress it down into usable bites that now we can plug into what we're doing. So you can cut and paste this into an article. You can generate articles straight from this, however you want to do it. But it was interesting to me that you can take an article and just plug it in there and say summarize it, and it'll do this. And you can create it a number of different ways. You can have it come up as bullet pointed. You can say, you know, you can single out things to go after. So I think it's a real usable tool for us as we do research to stay current on our market, right?
Can I branch off of that a little bit?
Sorry?
Can I branch off of this a little bit? You could also, off of this, make it even smaller and say, hey, can you create an Instagram post for me that's 2,000 words, including spaces, and it'll create something that'll fit for your Instagram.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And since we're talking, I was talking about market update, is how many active listings are there in the MLS as of like noon today?
5,732.
5,732? Anybody else want to guess?
Be my guess, I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000.
5,000.
Anybody else?
5,000.
5,000?
How many?
And the number is?
10,000.
One moment.
I think
It was
5,350 is what I'd guess, but
5,520.
5,520. Who was closest?
Overbid.
Who was closest?
I don't know.
I think I was.
I said 5,000. He overbid though.
I was 200 off.
This isn't over under whatever that game was. So I do that to say this. you need to stay current with what's going on in your market. This is fun, it's a cup of coffee and all that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, you need to know what's going on in your market. And little things like that, and we're going to look at a chart I do here in a minute, but little things like that make conversations so much more comfortable. Say, what's the market like? And you go, oh, it's pretty good, you know. Inventory's down. Well, how many homes are there? You know, how many weeks of inventory? Are we on a seller's market? Are we on a buyer? So little bits of information like that. It doesn't take you any time to look at. Every day when you open the MLS, it gives you that number, right? When you try to do a search, it's going to tell you how many active listings there are in there. So I just do that to encourage you. That's part of our business, is staying current with what's going on. And little things like that will help you overcome hurdles when you're talking with that hard client that you're across the table from, and they're, you know, do you really know what's going on? Yeah, I know what's going on. There's 5,520 homes on the market right now, actually, and that's been the average for about the last 12 months, you know, and we've got 11 weeks of inventory. That stuff starts flowing out, and it will calm a lot of people down, their anxiety. Okay, so the next one is, but you're right, that's what you do. You take this stuff and go as far as you want to go with it, but don't summarize text. All right, well, let's do this. The next one is summarize, explain, mortgage. All right, I put in explain mortgage insurance to an 8-year-old. I'm 72 and I can't really figure it out myself, so let's see what it tells us. Sure, it's a special kind of insurance, and you can see the words it's using in there. It's really got it down to a level that, you know, the kids can understand. And oftentimes we got to be careful, because we start throwing the lingo around and all that we do in our business. And there's people out there, although we think everybody has bought and sold property and they know this stuff, they don't. You know, so there's oftentimes we need to really, you know, bring that level down. A friend of mine says, put the cookies on a level that I can get to. You know, he talked about when he went to his grandma's house, she would bake cookies and she would put them on the top shelf so you couldn't get them. But as the time wore on, she'd move them down to where the kids could get them. So you can use this to put the cookies on a shelf that the kids can get to, that your clients can understand, and you're not going to have a lot of questions, or, you know, because they'll shut you down sometimes. It's like, I don't know what the guy's saying, right? Provide statistics. Okay, so I've already said that we don't have current statistics for our market. One of the things that I do, and I forgot to open it up, so you'll have to give me a second here. One of the things I do is I track just certain things on the trying to get rid of this. I try to track certain things in our local market area. Come on, let me get rid of it.
You need to press the minus
Do you see it?
at the top. To the right.
Here? Thank you. It's my business partner. I told her, you can help me, but don't make fun of me. So she's pretty good about it. So weekly market stats. I just go into, I don't know if Watson has something you guys put out to you guys, but this comes from the MLS under venues, the Dumas. It gives you different options on market statistics in the area. One thing I'll say about it is each week when I go in to update, usually its numbers have changed. And that's just indicative of us not putting our stuff in a timely manner, because this is doing it by date block, it's not like it's added so many since last week. So this changes around a little bit, but I would say don't worry about this, because again, you're not being tested on exactly how many listings there were. You know, you're being tested on your market knowledge. So I do this so that I know that the median sales price was 361, 360, 375, 325, 360. So I can go back and look at variations in the median sales price. This is for Duval County, Clay County, and St. Johns County, because I have an office in St. Johns. And then it tells you, these are just topics that I wanted. You create this any way you want, but you can go in and look at the weekly stats, and you can narrow it down to a county, to a community if you want. So I run this so I have this knowledge if I get into a discussion, right? If I know I'm going to talk to a tech kind of guy or an engineer or somebody like that, they're going to want to know this kind of info. So I have this information, but how do I use it? So I can come in now and let's just go back to April 15th, just another Control-C. Going back to my chat GTP, I'm going to start a new one, and another, I'm going to Control Shift to get it down. And then I stick it in, and you can see the format it comes in. It's just a bunch of garbage. It's not going to be able to get anything out of that. But that is my spreadsheet being plugged into chat. I just asked it to. Okay, so I asked a real simple question. It's giving me a real simple answer, right? So let's step it up a notch. What would be a good question to ask it now?
Can you help me write a market watch report?
Sorry?
Can you help me write, can you act as a realtor and take this information and make a market watch report based on the information provided?
Rewrite, that's too many words. For me, rewrite as a email to my customers. Let's see what it does with that. Yeah, it's not. This isn't coming out quite like it normally does for me. I'm not sure how I ask the question where I get a different response. What's it say in the handout? Did I copy it in there? Yeah. Okay, so spend too much time on it because you can play with it and come up, but
Yeah, a lot of it's just playing around with it and getting a feel for it and what you're trying to utilize it for.
No, that he was just saying that's what it seems that you play around with it and start to get the feel of it, how it works.
Yeah, for anybody, because it's you can do so much with it. Just
You
depends
really
on what you're
can.
looking to get out of it, and it really helps when you play around with it. In my experience, at least.
yeah, it's like this is the first time it's ever come up like this for me, so that's what I'm going, what have I done different?
I know the handout from the other class, I went through some of the stuff and it really did get me started asking it proper questions. So.
Okay, so we're hung up on that. I'm not going to spend any more time on that because there's other stuff we want to go through. But you can see how you can take current information and plug it in. And I don't know, you could literally, like in that spreadsheet, you could say Oakleaf, right? And it would just give you the information on Oakleaf, and you can say, here's the latest stats on Oakleaf. And then it actually creates what we send out as our market update. It's written out in paragraph format with the information in it. And we say, hey, if you're wondering, this is what's going on in Northeast Florida, and we can send it out. Again, you want to wordsmith it, make sure it's not making stuff up. But and I'm not going to spend more time on it. But you just keep asking the questions till you get what you want. because it tries to anticipate what you want. That's what it's trying to do. Niche down, niche. So, okay, this is like entry level, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, right? So niche down, I've always said niche all my life. I run a website about real estate in Jacksonville, Florida, blah, blah, blah. So this is now producing, sub niches and the popularity of each one. So you run this and you go like, I really like home staging. I think it's really cool, but it's pretty low on the list, so I don't think I want to do that one. Buying versus renting is not a big draw, but luxury homes, beachfront properties, historic homes, those are all, they catch a lot of attention. So I might want to focus on those. But focus on what you're comfortable with, right? Don't go like, I hate the beach, so don't pick beachfront property. Pick something that you're comfortable with. And if I met an agent the other day. She's an interior designer. I'm thinking, well, capitalize on that. You have all this knowledge, right? But this will give you then different topics and how popular those are. So now you can build off that. Now we're going to now take that same list. We're going to get more information on one of them. Which one what topic would y'all like to, somebody's pick one of the ones up above?
Investment properties.
Yeah.
All right, so on these samples, I've just left it there so that you know that we're supposed to plug something in there. So now it's giving us articles and titles that we can use on investment property. And so if you're in the Trello board working on investment properties, this now becomes your tabs down. And now you can go after each one of those. And again, they're ranked based on, popularity. Any questions on any of this? So again, we're using it we go big, we get narrower, we get down to the niche we want to be in. And now we drill down as far as we want to go and we start building out. The prompts and all that I'm using, I recommend that you create a sheet that has your prompts on it. You're going to see why at the end. That some of the prompts that you build are going to be quite lengthy. I had a guy that has a master's in education and a bachelor's in computer design, I think it was, and he writes. I don't even understand what the guy's writing. But it's like, and it produces stuff. You go like, oh my God. But when I read through it, I'm going like, okay, that's taking this to a whole other level. And so once we've developed something like that, we have it on a sheet somewhere that we just cut and paste in, and we change what market we're looking for or whatever, and then it keeps producing the documents. That one is actually on, was it Instagram posts? We're going to do that at the very end. And I'm still working on it. That's not something I'm necessarily going to hand out yet, but I just want to see the full power of ChatGPT as we go along. So again, we found a niche. We got down. We got into some sub niches. Let's see what it has us do next. Go to create content. So it's create content time. I'm doing a new chat. One thing while I'm thinking about it is we do this. If you put if you put, and I think you'll see it on one of the last ones we do, but if you have realtor in there, so and you say something like, I want this, like it's written from a seasoned realtor or something like that, if you put realtor in all caps, it pays attention to that. It goes, okay, this is a significant word, and it's trying to find ways to work that into the. So if everything's lowercase and all that, and you have realtor all uppercase, it will say, okay, this is a significant term to watch for. It will try to create content that matches up with that.
Will it do the same thing with, like, if you say like doctor, lawyer?
It should, yeah. I'm just, what I say realtor because that's what we do, but if you put a term, social engineer, it's going to try to work social engineering into whatever it's creating for you.
Copy.
Right. I mean, it won't go off topic, but it now starts looking at it from the mindset of a social engineer rather than a realtor, maybe, or vice versa. So, and what we're going to look that we are going to look at on the last one that we do. All right. So, what entities and subtopics should I mention if I want to write a beginner's guide to buying a home? Give me the results. And again, this is similar, to what I've been doing all along, but I just want you to see there's different things you can do to start extracting information out that now you can plug into your social media efforts. And I think you can see, and we'll all agree, that this doesn't take a lot of time to get to a level that you can start manipulating. It gets to a point where you're, and I call it, it's not brain fog, but decision fatigue is something that's very real to us, that you have to make decision after decision after decision. Sometimes at the end of the day you're wore out. I really hadn't done anything today, but you're just physically wore out. And as the office manager broker, I'm sure that he can tell you the same. But this allows us to drill down and get the information so we can make the decisions while we're fresh. Let's see. All right, so now we're going to go back. So it's going to take what it just created now with this one, and it's going to break it down into a format. These are headings, that you see. H2 is bold. So it's just telling us what kind of headings to use in the process. You can see how people can write books with this stuff now, right?
Easy.
Now all you do is go plug in those subtopics, and you've got a beginner's guide to want my free beginner's guide, book. And there's a free thing out there that you can create your cover. Then there's another one that takes that picture and it kind of turns it, makes it look like a book, and they click on it and you send them the book that you've written. So now you're an author that you've written, and I read one from an agent I know in North Carolina, and it's an awesome book, but she goes, I didn't write a word. It was all through ChatGPT, and she did it in a weekend. And it's like a 17-page book. And it's a good book. I mean, it's got some valid information on it. But so you can take the information and keep manipulating and shifting and get it further and further along.
It's all about value. The value you bring to your customers. Everyone's got a business card. We all got real estate license, but it's about what you can show the consumer. What you bring to the table, and how much value you really are worth.
Exactly. And that is what I like about this. It allows us to create content. I have a team of 20-some agents. We have a VA. And there's people doing stuff all over the place for us, that I could never do. But, watch it now, I can eliminate it. I can eliminate a lot of that overhead because this is something that a person can do for me rather than having the VA in the Philippines and someone in North Carolina. And, so This, I heard one guy talk about it. He said this could eliminate about 80% of your overhead on this kind of stuff. You can create content that you could turn over to somebody and say, make this pretty, and they make it pretty for you. And that's a lot cheaper than saying, come up with an idea, come up with this, write this, do this, that, you know. So, and that's the way I see it for us. It's a low dollar, market expert kind of thing, and you can leverage it. And using what I showed you with the data that I track on a weekly basis. Again, I'm not tracking that, somebody else is doing it. I'm just bringing it over into my thing. But I can now create a meaningful discussion for people that are thinking about moving to Oakleaf. And it'll be up-to-date information on Oakleaf. I just have to make sure I'm pulling that information for Oakleaf. And if that's what you're targeting out here, then that's what you need to be doing. You don't need to be worried about World Golf Village if you're selling Oakleaf. If you're trying to sell everywhere, you're gonna burn a lot of gas and a lot of windshield time. So if you could drill down on an area, this what I just showed you gives the ability to drill down on your area and become an expert. How well do y'all know your market? How many homes sold in Oakleaf in the last week? Anybody got a guess? You can't. No, you can't play. How many homes sold shown in the MLS under Oakleaf tag in the last week, the month of June?
The Oakleaf tag's kind of hard to do it specifically for Oakleaf, because there's Oakleaf plantation. Like, do you consider Eagle Landing Oakleaf?
Yeah, I'm just going on what it says in, when we do our MLS search on Oakleaf.
Yeah, like the Oakleaf region.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that does include, because I think if it's broken down, it's Oakleaf and it's Middleburg Northwest, Middleburg Southeast. It's got some like that. I just asked her to pull for Oakleaf. Got a guess?
I got a guess, but I'm gonna shut up. I got a guess though. Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 17.
17. Anybody else?
So now?
Say 6. Somebody goes 16.
Doesn't.
Then you'll be.
Doesn't.
I'll say
Do the $1 over, $1 under.
18.
18. How many was it?
6.
6.
No, we're a little off,
That's crazy. It doesn't seem like it's that little.
Well, but see, it is a deceiving number. It kind of blew me away when I saw it, but it's a conversation piece. You're talking to it's crazy. We see all this activity going on, but I only saw 6 actually close in here.
Exactly.
But you got to look outside because we have Eagle Land. We got it just gives you the ability to continue the conversation, develop the relationship, and So again, I just do that to whoa.
People are holding on to their money.
Yeah, it's back. So, all right, what was next on the list? Create content, outline it for me. All right, here's one that you probably need to pay attention to. If you do any YouTube stuff, this, where I have in here, write short copy. This is set up to get maximum visibility on YouTube. This was created by a friend of mine that does a lot of YouTube, and he said what this is for, he uses this to create the titles and all that for his YouTubes to maximize the metadata. And it has in here one thing, if you're doing this, 155 is the maximum characters I think that YouTube allows, and spaces count as characters. So if you're not careful, it'll give you less than 155 letters, but it doesn't count the spaces. So you want to include the spaces count, so you'll do it. And let's see what it comes up with. So this this is supposedly written so that it will maximize the metadata that, you know, and elevate you in the search, right? Another interesting thing along that sidebar on that, I learned this week that if you have, I mentioned the VA, we have one that's in the Philippines. The Google, if they see the posts are originating from the Philippines, it's like they don't exist. I mean, they still go, but they downplay them like almost off the table. So, and then beyond that, another class I teach is cybersecurity, and my recommendation is for agents that are out and about is to get a, I just lost the term, what is it?
VPN?
VPN, thank you. So you get your own VPN, so now nobody can hack you while you're in Starbucks and all that. But if you're sending it from a VPN, it does the same thing because it's not regionalized. So if you're going to write and post content and all that kind of stuff, open up at your house or here in the office where you're safe and do your posting from here, and it maximizes the way Google interprets your posts and elevates them. But again, this is designed to help you come up with titles that will maximize your impact and your footprint on YouTube. And the guy does a ton of YouTube, so I trust him, his expertise on that one. Okay. I don't have two screens, so it takes me a little time to get back and forth. All right, just some video scripts to use. So it pops up some scripts that we can use for videos. It's saying these would be good video things. You can say, give me another list. You know, you can keep repeating this over and over again until you get what you're looking for. But once you do, the next step is and which one do we want to use?
Let's see.
We'll do the benefits.
There we go.
Benefits of working with real estate. So you have your topic, and I mean, it even tells you transition to a home. You know, it gives you suggestions on how to make your video more impactful. So if you go, okay, tomorrow's my video day. I need to hit a restaurant. I need to hit, you know, if you're going to do it all in one day, like a lot of people do, I got to hit a restaurant. I got to hit an open house somewhere. I got to do a listing. I got, you know, so you a local business. A fun thing, you can actually write your script out ahead of time so that when you're there, you're not trying to just figure it out. But I advise also this, don't be reading the script. You know, this helps you lay out how you want to do your video, in my mind, more than it does, hey, this is Terry, I am at Oakleaf Plantation, you know, or whatever, or reading it like that. But it helps me lay it out, you know, so that when I'm going to do them, I'm a lot more at ease with the presentation. No questions?
Information overload, a lot of good knowledge.
All right, I said something about social media. Chat is learning from you as you go along as well. So as you ask questions and do different things, it's going to try to mimic you. The way you respond and ask questions and all that. So it's machine learning. It is learning you. It's learning everybody else as well, because when I first did this and said, give me a property description for a listing, you know, it was kind of sporadic, you know, what it produced. But you go in now and type that, you don't have to say, for a real estate listing and all, it knows. It's learned from all the other hits it's got. but it learns from you and what you do, machine learning, and it then tries to incorporate it into the responses that it provides. So I just asked for a content calendar. There you are for the month of July. And again, you can go into the Trello board, you can put it down, or you can go into your calendar and plug these dates in, and that's what you're going to do. And then now you have, your task is to build them. That's why I think the Trello board or something like that is good, because it keeps it in order. You have a place to go to for them. But, so you saw in like, 4 seconds, there is a schedule for you for the month of July, right, that you can go to. You have to think about it. Now you can go ahead and change these any way you want. You can change the dates on them, whatever you want. But there's a lot you can do, and really, click, 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 and now you've got content that you can manipulate and go. Okay, I got one more. Okay, this is one I'm still working on, but I'm going to show you the power of, we say the power is in the prompts, right? You can say, give me 5 subdivisions in Jacksonville, Florida, and it'll produce 5 subdivisions for you. If you go, give me 5 riverfront communities in Jacksonville, it's a whole different list, right? And if you say riverfront with docks available, it's, the more you ask, the better the information you're going to get back, right? The better the response is going to be based on the amount of information you give in. So you have the ability to go in. So I'm saying what I did is I went in to identify who I am. I'm a marketer that sells property, right? That's what we are as realtors. We're marketers that happen to sell real estate. So I went in and did a search for what are titles of people that do social media for large corporations, real estate corporations, and it came back with a couple names. I took one of those names that made sense to me, and I said, give me a job description for this individual. And it created a job description for me, for that individual. Then I eliminated everything in it except develop and implement, create engaging, manage social media. So this is stuff that a high-level social media marketing person would do based on, because remember now, it's looking at thousands of points of data to come up with this for me. So it came up and it said, so what I just said was, for the remainder of this chat, or until I request otherwise, please act as a social media marketing manager. And this describes the market manager. So everything I create after that is going to use that mindset. So now it's out searching. When it does its search, it's now looking for those to tie into relevance to what it's creating for me, right? So you can identify what you are, and then you can actually go, like I have month of year. When it asks month and year, it's for this was going to be July. The resort was just, I didn't change the name on it because it's already in the text. Oakleaf, and the season is summer. Develop a concise plan for a weekly Instagram series for a Clay County, Florida realtor in caps. As part of the plan, create text for each prompt, right? So this is where I'm saying, when you create these things, you want to have it in a Word document, because it takes a lot of time to develop this, right? You can spend a lot of time developing this, because it goes to such a level to create a specific kind of document for you. So when you do that, save them somewhere that you can cut and paste them back in. Because see, I can go in now and I can change, instead of Oakleaf, I can say Eagle Landing. And then anything it creates for me, it's going to say Eagle Landing. It won't say, or whatever. So you can change that, and I can say, well, this is for the fall. I want to know what's going on in the fall. I can change that, and it will change the verbiage that it creates for us based on those inputs.
So using that format, that's what you're saying, like put it in the brackets? And put equal? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Up
And
here equals that, and so that when we write out down here, like here it says resort,
Right.
we'll highlight resort, so it'll highlight Oakleaf.
Killer.
Okay, so, and again, I saw this last night, and I went, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? There's so much stuff happening so fast with this stuff, it's hard to keep up. I'm showing you this, I'm not gonna give you a copy of this, but because you really need to understand the other stuff before you start going this deep. That's
Okay.
my opinion. Or you already have a mind for it, you're gonna be able to create it on your own. I just want to show you the power of how this can work for you once you start stacking it all together. So you can continue to stack over more and more and more and more prompts in one post. In one question, you can ask everything. Where what I've done in the past, give me something and it gives it to me. Then I pick one of those and give me more on that one and it gives me that. And say, give me. And so I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And I saw this guy and I'm thinking, take a deep breath, okay? But, so we're going to run this and see what it does, okay? So give me a second. As you can see, it's a long one. I'm going to do a new chat. It may take a minute. And then you see up at the end it has the tone, use of form, tone, casual, persona, blah, blah, blah. So it allows you to take all the different things that we've talked about. All right, so it's done creating. Let's see what it did. Oh, it did create. So it's defining the objective, guidelines, cadence. It's telling you how it's generating this stuff. Welcome to Clay County. Welcome to Clay County, Florida. We're excited to share the beauty and charm of our local community with you, blah, blah, blah. So these are Instagram posts. And how long did it take? Now, obviously it took a little while to create the prompt, but once you have the prompt, you can use it over and over and over and over again. Let me rerun it again because something didn't come through. There we go. There was something wrong. Because remember what I asked it for was a post.
Right.
I also asked it for hashtags, so I'm going to have to run it again. Sometimes you have to. Come on, give me a hashtag.
But it's going off the prompts that you stuck off in there.
Yeah, see, it's creating now. It gave me some hashtags to use, gave me the text, the date to do it, the text, some hashtags to use, and it recommends I use an image of the school campus with happy students and teachers. So again, you spend time building something out like this, and now you can, once you get it, you replicate it over and okay, how do I want to change this? What do I want now? But so this has given us the text, the timing, what kind of picture to use if you want to go that far, and what kind of hashtags to include. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Is that
That's
cool?
crazy.
Well, I've come to the end of what I have to share. Hopefully, it will, I know there's a lot of information there. Hopefully you can take it and apply. Typically, like most of us, we go to seminars and webinars, this is awesome, this is awesome. We go home, we play with it for a little bit, and then it goes away and we don't use it. So hopefully this will inspire you enough that you can see, spend a little bit of time now digging into artificial intelligence is a game changer. It can be a game changer. It can move you There are people on social media now that you're going like, man, I wish I could be like that. Well, you can be. You've got, thousands and thousands and thousands of data points that this is searching for, trying to help you create what will separate you from the other. And my goal with social media, my goal with any marketing that I do, is that it gets me in front of somebody. It gets me in front of somebody. And that's what this is intended to do. This will not get you a listing. This will not get you a buyer. This will get you the opportunity to talk to the sellers and the buyers. And then get the master in the back to help you out, close the deal, right?
Absolutely.
Any questions? My email's on that thing I handed out. If you have any questions on it, I'm happy to answer. And with AI, it's changing. While I was up here, probably 4 or 5 new things came out with AI that you can employ. My thing is learn it in steps. Unless you're one of those people that can see the whole thing, that's fine, go after it. But be content that I'm going to set this up and I'm going to put it in place and I'm going to do it and then start enhancing it. But there's a lot of good information. I don't remember the lady's name that was at the Rebar.
Yeah, Marky Lemons.
Yeah, if she is a great resource if you want to. She offers a $197 course now. I'm tempted to take it, but I'm afraid to. But she is, she actually has the avatar of her, and the end game on all this for when you go deep with it, you create an avatar yourself, you send them a voice recording, it now mimics your voice, and then you go in here and you give me a social media, a video post you feed it into the program, and now your avatar pops up on the screen and it's speaking in your voice what you've created in here. But again, there's a lot of money involved in that. And I don't know how much that helps. If I'm at a national level trying to sell coaching and marketing programs, that might make a lot of sense. But I don't know that it does not. That's for you to decide. But
They did a class at Landmark on AI, and they said that for big corporations, where you constantly have to change training videos and stuff like that, it makes sense. But I think they said yearly it would come out to 12,000 or something like that per year to do the avatar and the audio. So it's insane.
well, yeah, I'm trying to think where I was at. We were talking about something in a meeting I was at, and the guy pulls up, and he's, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I got this." I didn't know it existed. So it's just evolving and evolving, and we're going to see more and more of it. Most of our CRMs are trying to incorporate a version of chat in them. I haven't personally seen them yet, but I understand that they're coming. That's the word on the industry, that most of the CRMs are going to incorporate it. We buy some overrides on ours that has artificial intelligence, starting chats up, and it's amazing. I could sit and watch, hey, this is Terry's assistant. I saw you were looking at 123 Main Street. What's got you looking? And then, my husband's going to retire. We're going to relocate down. Oh, great. What's he retiring from? And it's learning. The more it does it, the more in depth the questions have gotten. When we first deployed it, it was. We actually had one that was a good conversation. The guy goes, "Well, I got to run. We're getting ready to sit down for dinner." Okay, well. But when you say 3 bedrooms, does it mean, and the guy goes, "No, we're getting ready to eat dinner, and so can you," and it just kept asking questions, because the AI doesn't understand the word no, right? And the guy goes, "Will you leave me alone?" And it turns into this, now he's mad at us and we've lost the guy. But we went back to the company that has it, they plugged it in there, and now it senses when the mood changes and it stops off. But that's been around for 2 years. So the AI's been there for a long time. A lot of the marketing stuff that we bought, as realtors, all these posts and all that,